Welcome back. Former President Trump says he is safe and well. He did so in a campaign email after another assassination attempt on the former president's life yesterday while golfing at his Trump International Golf Course in West Palm Beach, Florida. The suspect has been identified as 58-year-old Ryan Wesley Routh. A Secret Service agent shot at Routh after spotting him pointing a rifle through a fence near the club's property line. Authorities found a scoped AK-47. The rifle was found along with 2 backpacks and a GoPro camera in the bushes where he was hiding. Now, the Trump Assassination Task Force that was formed after the July 13th assassination attempt has requested a briefing with Secret Service about what exactly happened yesterday and how security responded. Joining me now is Texas Congressman Pat Fallon. He's a member of the House Oversight and Armed Services Committees. Congressman Fallon, it's good to see you. Thanks for being here, particularly since you are on the task force on the attempted assassination of President Trump. What can you tell us?
Oh, Maria, it's another unfortunate incident, unfortunately, but this time no one was harmed, fortunately. The gunman was on the next hole. President Trump was on the 5th hole, and a Secret Service agent, as you said, saw him poking an AK-47 through the fence line. I mean, this guy's from Hawaii. He drives thousands of miles and has ceramic plates to deflect bullets. He's got a GoPro camera. I mean, clearly he was intent on doing the president harm. And we have to ask questions as to how he was 300 to 500 yards away from the president. The difference between that and Butler was that assassin was only about 140 yards away. So it was very, it had a very different outcome. But how did this guy get that close? And that's what we're going to be asking the Secret Service this week.
Well, I mean, do you have any confidence that you're actually going to get real information? I mean, let's face it, it's been 3 months since July 13th, and we still don't know much about what went on in Butler.
But you know what? You're not wrong there. I got to be honest with you, Maria. We've been asking what the Secret Service and the FBI have been doing is, yes, they've been turning over some documents and some information, but begrudgingly. They're not acting proactively. And we really need that to happen, because when I visited Butler, what struck me was, how in the world can a government get on a roof of the greatest threat to the president? When you go to Butler, that's the building that needs to be secured first, and then you work out from there. And the fact that they didn't surround the building with law enforcement, the fact that there were actually hundreds of people closer to the president that hadn't been screened than the gunman himself. That's epic failures. And we still haven't gotten concrete answers. I know the Secret Service says they want more money, but when you have an epic historic failure like that, you don't get to be rewarded by doubling your budget. You have to guard. Who do you need to guard first and foremost? I know they have a lot of protectees. The president, the vice president, people running for president should be the first ones. You should have plenty of resources to secure those people. And apparently, they have to change the culture in the Secret Service.
Well, I mean, what is the answer to the fact that RFK Jr. begged the Biden-Harris administration for protection while he was campaigning, and they flat out refused? This after we've seen his father, his uncle, get shot.
Yeah, I thought you were supposed to prepare for the worst, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. And that, again, this is yet another decision that this administration has made that leaves your head scratching. I mean, people's lives are at stake here. Of course, he was a major presidential candidate. He should have gotten the security afforded that's due him. But the president, President Trump, he had a threat from a foreign nation state, Iran, and they knew that. He should have a compliment akin to a sitting president, and he didn't, and he still doesn't. He should do that. They should do that forthwith.
Congressman, what do you recommend Florida Governor Ron DeSantis do? Because already the governor has come out and said that he's going to probe this and investigate this, and he announced this. He joined me yesterday on Sunday Morning Futures, by the way, and ever since he talked about what he's going to do after finding details of what went on yesterday in that assassination attempt, a lot of people are saying, do not give up the Trump shooter to the feds. Do not hand over any evidence you find to the FBI, because we'll never know the truth. What should Governor DeSantis do now with this investigation? Should he tell the FBI to stand down? He wants to investigate it, since we know that we're not getting any information from the FBI?
Well, I think Governor DeSantis should definitely investigate. It happened in Florida. It happened, in his jurisdiction. So I would welcome the governor launchement a full investigation.
He is.
I think and he should, because you know what? He's going to be proactive. He's going to make sure those Florida law enforcement members take care of business. and be forthcoming. How about this, Maria? Being transparent instead of covering your backside, because that's what these federal agencies tend to do. And we have got to hold them to account. And I certainly hope that we're going to expand our investigation to investigate this incident as well.
Well, what specifically do you want to know? I mean, my question as an outsider looking in is how the heck did another would-be assassin get so close to President Trump? Right? 100 to 500 yards? Yep. How does that happen? I mean, last week, Acting Secret Service Director Ronald Rowe briefed the task force on the July 13th assassination attempt on President Trump. The agency's interim report examining the Secret Service's security lapses that day. That report is due out this week. Are you expecting the report, or is it unclear now that it's going to be pushed back because of this latest attempt on Trump's life?
First thing, absolutely, $64,000 question is, how did this fella get that close? We don't know that yet, but that's another breakdown. But, again, the difference is 300 to 500 yards is not 130 yards. It's still way too close. But Butler will go down in history as, the biggest, I think, the greatest failure the Secret Service has ever had. And Acting Director Rowe doesn't think that there is a need for systemic change within the Secret Service. I wholeheartedly disagree. When you have an agency that has 8,000 employees and a $3.1 billion budget, don't look to me and tell me that you need more resources. All right, you may need more agents, but you've got to guard the people at the top first, and you can't even do that. So again, I'm not going to reward you with billions of additional dollars because you failed in Butler. You didn't need any extra money to succeed in Butler. They just didn't secure the AGR building. That's glaring failure.
Look, are you expecting the task force report this week or not?
I'm expecting it from the Secret Service this week, and I hope they release it.
Okay. Let me switch gears and ask you about the budget, because October 1st is the new start of the fiscal year. We know that. None of the appropriation bills that fund the various departments and agencies have passed into law, so we're expecting some kind of a continuing resolution. House Speaker Mike Johnson is facing a critical leadership challenge again with this looming government shutdown deadline at the end of the month. Let's look at what's happening here. He's trying to push this plan to link the SAVE Act to a continuing resolution to fund the government through the end of March. If passed, of course, the SAVE Act would help secure the election by preventing non-citizens from voting. But your colleagues on the left refuse to do it. And yesterday, I spoke with Wisconsin Congressman Brian Stile and Florida Congressman Corey Mills. Corey Mills also says he's not going to vote yes to attach the SAVE Act. Here's a bit of that. Watch.
Yeah, I think the Speaker's play call to attach the SAVE Act to the CR and to jam it to the Senate and put it in the Senate's lap is the right play call. I think he'll ultimately have an opportunity to bring it to the floor. And I think at the end of the day, we'll pass it because the American people want to see us move forward on the SAVE Act to secure the election and force the Senate to act on it.
Corey Mills,
We've already passed the SAVE Act. We've already passed the SAVE Act July 10th. And actually, I would argue if we truly cared about election integrity, Brian Stile had a better bill, in my opinion, the ACE Act that was dropped July of 2023. That would have given us enough time to actually pass it and implement it. Now we want to act like we care about election integrity 120 days out and attach it to the last CR. What about the previous CRs?
What's the answer, Congressman?
The answer is we have to, I think we should pass a CR to get to the next administration. So when we have unified government, and we can use reconciliation, we can actually reduce spending, and we can pass legislation that would secure the elections. Because let's be very honest, if we pass the SAVE Act in the House, which we already have, if we pass it again, the Senate's not going to pass it. That's unfortunate. But all we're doing is we have 11 million people that cross the border illegally under this administration, at least 11 million. We don't know who they are. We know some of them are voting because when you vote on a federal registration card, when you register to vote, Maria, all you have to do is check a box promising. It's the honor system, promising you're an American citizen. We have to do far better than that. You should have to be forced to and compelled to prove that you're a citizen and give states access to the federal database. It's a great piece of legislation that Biden said he's going to veto.
Well, I understand that makes a lot of sense because Chuck Schumer says he's not bringing it to the floor anyway in the Senate. But what are you going to do about non-citizens voting? Okay, we just had this story from Oregon. Officials in Oregon admitting on Friday that a data entry mistake, they claim, registered more than 300 non-citizens to vote in the state since 2021. So what's the answer, Congressman?
Well, if Oregon is admitting that they did 300, it's probably closer to 3,000, maybe even 30,000, quite frankly, because they don't have, when these Democratic-run states don't have any incentive to actually enforce, implement voter integrity policies. California, Oregon, they switch over to not even in-person voting, but mail-in voting. I think in Oregon, they exclusively mail in their ballots. That's not voter integrity. That's not the best way to conduct an election. So we can do it in the House, but when the Senate kills everything, you're not going to pass anything. And when you have a president that says he's going to veto it, that's just the brass tacks, Maria. We need to fire the Democrats in the Senate, and we need to hire President Trump again, and then we can actually get some voter integrity passed.
All right, we will leave it there. And of course, we will be watching your work. Thank you, sir.